Okay. So the first thing, I just quickly want to make sure about this. Nay, if you get your answer sheet, so when they scan the answer sheet, right, they will scan it without this. This is going to be reducted, meaning if I'm marking, I'm not able to see your EMIS number, your center number, I'm not able to do. No, you guys are going to write it and they're going to scan it, but when I open up your paper, it will just have a little eye on it that says reducted, so that I can't see it. It's not visible to me. So what they also reduct is the back page and this back page. So you're not going to do things that you want people to mark on here. For instance, let's say 4.4 you did a big mess and you want to redo it on here, okay? Then you have to tell them, please see page 11, because they won't be able to, so they would have to make a special request to get page 11, okay? Rather try and do it at the pages that is visible. So these pages you can use for your calculations, né? But not the ones that you want to have marked. Now you do understand that like this director's fee calculation is an enormous big calculation, né? But they won't mark everything, né? Remember, if you go look at the memo, if you go look there at the director's fee, can you see you only got 2 ticks for the final? So you're not going to get part marks for if you times with 7/8 and divided by 3. You're not going to get part marks. You get 2 accuracy marks or nothing. Okay? But you still need to do the calculations and you need paper for that. So then you go and you take that back page of your answer sheet and you go do it there. Your calculations that you want them to see, right? You do it all around. Can you see? This is how my paper would look like. Okay? Now, you can see here I draw a line there because these things need to be scanned. They will go and they are going to cut off there that they can run the book through. Okay? So I would say, first thing you do is you take your ruler or whatever, or some freehand, and you just draw a line for yourself where the marks end. And then you don't write anything here. You only write there. Okay. No, it's not difficult because you know about it now. So stop being a drama queen. Yeah, let's go on. So now we are with our wonderful director's fee, which everybody wanted to run away. What I want you to know and to see, let me just pack everything away. What I want you to see on the memo, first of all, when something like this happens and you start reading this thing, immediately you go ice cold and you think, I have no idea where to start. Then you start with this. You go, look, did they give me director's fee in the question, in the trial balance? Yes. There's the director's fee. Is it printed on my answer sheet? No, it's not. So I write it in, I put that amount in, and there I already got 1 tick. Second thing I do is I go look and I see, oh, wow, no idea what's happening, but are you able to identify if it's accrued or if it's future? And yes, you can, because they say it's been paid for March, which is next year, so you know it's a income received in advance. So what can you immediately do? You go and you put a minus. And then you go and see if you can calculate. If you can't calculate, you somewhere take the amount they give you, divide it by 13, you get any amount. Please, don't be stupid and just write 1 there. It has to make sense. Okay? And whatever amount you got there is going to be wrong, but you'll get your bagel because you minus. And when you go to the balance sheet, because you know you need to add it to payables, they're going to compare this one with the one that you wrote here, and you'll get another one. Can you see? You can get 3 out of how many? Out of 5. Because this calculation is only 2 marks. You guys see that? I need you to get out of your head with always just seeing the difficult. Start seeing the easy things. Because as you know, the papers are set up like that. 30% of the paper is the difficult things, like this director's fee and like the loan. But 70% is easy and average. So you should be able to do 70% of the paper with ease. But you know what happens? You guys get stuck on the difficult things, and then you don't get to the easy things because you get stuck on that. Don't get stuck. Okay. I see a question.
So 70% is average.
Now, if I look at this director's fee, please. Firstly, they say the director fee includes 385, which is half yearly, meaning this is for 6 months. Okay. Now, please use your timeline. My timeline, if I go look at my trial balance, ends 29 February, so it started 1st of March. Now, if I look at this timeline, meaning this is the first 6 months of the year, right? It's the first 6 months. So if I look at the first 6 months, it gives me March, April, May, June, July, August. So this is up until 31st August. This guy received 385. Sure. Now they say, okay, an additional guy is appointed from the 1st of September. So can you see they only show you what this guy earned up until 31st August. Now, this new guy is going to earn the same following. Okay, but now they give a little trick there. They say, director fees increased on the 1st of September, 1st of May, ne? 1st of May, with 8%. This new director, is he going to earn the director's fee before or after the increase? So what is your purpose? Your purpose is to find what is the salary per, or the director's fee per month after the increase. But now they throw you, because we are so used to them working with a whole year and then it's what? They are now giving you information for 6 months. Ne? Because they tell you for this 6 months, he got 385,520. Some of it, he got the basic salary, and some of it, he got an 8% increase. Okay, so now I'm literally going to work on 6 months. So I'm just going to work till there. So now what do I see? Firstly, I do exactly like I always do it. I go, look, how many months before the increase? March, April. So 2 months he earned 100%. How many months after the increase? May, June, July, August. 4 months. Or you could have said this is 6 months. 6 less 2 gives me 4. Okay? So 4 months he gets 108%. Okay. You guys will see I did make you the memo, and I did it on an A4 with the purpose that you do your notes and stuff on the memo. Right. Because this is what you're going to study from. Okay. So now 4 times 108 gives me 432. So the weight is 632. So I'm going to use UK. Ne? U over K. Unknown over known. So, what is unknown? The 108. What is known? The 632. And how much is the 632? It's the 385,520. So what is the fee they receive per month after the increase? Isn't it 65880? 65880. Now, if I take that 65880, I times it with 2 directors for 6 months, I will get the extra 6 months. What is that? I will get that 6 months, right? Then I can take the total that was paid already, less what I'm supposed to pay, and that would be my prepaid. But it's actually easier than that, because they tell you both directors received 1 month in advance. Now, that advance is not going to be at the increased price, isn't it? So in other words, if one director gets 6.5, the other one's also going to get 6.5. So what is prepaid? That's my prepaid expense. And you'll see here on the memo, what I did is I subtracted it. And there I showed you that 131 I got because it's 2 guys. Both of them received it in advance. And now that 131, it's very important for me as a marker to see that, because if I go to the balance sheet, I want to see the 131 there. I want to be able to see that amount so that you can get your bagel. So the wrong amount to the right place. Okay. Everybody fine with director's fees? Yeah. Let's go again. Remember, what I always teach you is you take the amount that they give you times the percentage of the one that you want, which would be that one that I prepaid or that's accrued, né? Or future or accrued. You remember that. And you divide it by the percentage of the one that we calculated there. So this is why I say I want the 108. This is the unknown. I have the 632 because that 632 is the weight of the 385. Does that make sense? It's the one that I want to calculate. So if I wanted to calculate the director fee before the increase, I would have said times 100. If I wanted, remember we used to do it with the rent income, and then they would say, oh, there's 2 months in advance. Then we used to say 110 plus 110 and then said it's 220. Can you see it's the same principle? It's just because we don't say, oh, this is prepaid or accrued, now we all get demakar, which isn't necessary because it's the same principle to use it. The thing is with the papers, what they say is this. You remember when we did the rent, the 110% thing? We've done it in grade 10. So that straightforward one now in grade 12 is seen as a very easy low order question. They want to test if you understand the calculation. And that's why they give it to you like this, that you can see, oh, you know what? That calculation that I did with the rent income, it's possible for me to apply it now here. With the moment you see something increases 8%, you know you go back to that rent income. Same thing. Okay, and I'm quite sure there's other ways to do it as well. This is the way I understand, but you are welcome to try other ways. Okay. Next. What is next? In the previous years, the business did not have any financial investments on the 1st of May. They invested into a fixed deposit of 9%. Ooh, can you see that my reading was now very weird? Yeah, I put the accents on the wrong places.
We love your voice.
Whatever, ne? So they give me that. Now, if I look at the details, can you see they don't give me fixed deposit? Ne? But if you go and you look at your answer sheet, can you see they gave you information here? And this is the first time I've seen this done in such a way. So, can you see they want you to use this information, the interest income. Ne? Because what do I know? I know if I take the fixed deposit times the 9% times how long did I have the fixed deposit? If I look there, I got it 1st of May, so it's May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. I've had it 10 months, and now I know, they tell me, oh, you know what? Your interest that you're getting is 94,500. So now you can reverse it to get to the fixed deposit. How do I reverse, my baby? How do I reverse? 94,500. Can you guys see? I would get so dizzy if I was my teacher. 94,500. I'm gonna flip everything. So it's gonna be 9%, but I write it the other way. It's gonna be 10 months, but I write it the other way. And then I get my investment is how much? 126. You see? Okay. Always remember, if they give you the answer and they give you the method to get to the answer, you can always reverse it to get to the part of the information they didn't give you. If they could have said, calculate the percentage that you've earned, then you would have used everything and get the percentage. You see that? Okay, so the question is, how do I know there's no other interest income? Is if you read here, the business did not have any financial investments. They tell you. And even if they didn't tell you, where else would you see if there's interest income? If you would see it here in the trial balance, they would have given it to you here. Okay. Or they would have mentioned it. Okay. So, let's go on. Next one. Transfer a creditor's debit balance from the creditor's ledger to the debtor's ledger. Now the first thing you do when you get something like that is what? You draw a T. You draw two T's. You've got one for debtors, you've got one for creditors. Please guys. Now, what do they say? It's a creditor, so we're going to be here with a debit balance, so it's going to be here. Okay. Now we're going to transfer it. How do I get rid of it in the creditors? I go opposite. Can you see it's a plus? So now, if it's credited here, it means it's debited here, which is also a plus. Now, what I need you to remember is this little trick. It will always be plus, plus, or minus, minus. It will never be a plus, minus, or a minus, plus. Because if I plus it this side, it will plus that side. If I minus it this side, it will minus that side. Okay? So now, if I go to my my balance sheet, my receivables is going to plus 3,200, and my payables is going to plus 3,200. If you guys feel it gets too cramped there, then you do the note there. Then you just say payables there. Please guys, remember to give the marker an indication of what you are calculating. Don't just do like I did here, a lot of calculations. What else must I have done? I should have just done a little there, or said interest, I should have said fixed deposit. You can abbreviate because it's calculations. But give the marker indication, because I can promise you after 500 papers, they're not going to look for stuff. They're not going to say, that 94 500, what was it again? Oh, let's go back to the paper and check. Because what a lot of you guys also do is you write the numbers of the adjustments. You would say, oh, this is adjustment 1, dot, dot. When I'm marking, I'm not even looking at the paper. So now when you do that, now I have to go back to the paper. Can you see? When people are tired, they're not going to do that. You understand what I'm saying? It's easier. You want to make the life of the marker easy. They would want to mark your paper because it's a lekker paper to mark. Okay. Remember, you're no longer allowed to highlight on your answer sheet. Okay? Okay. And please, guys, I would really suggest, I know you love your pencils, but I would really suggest get a black pen. Do the whole paper in black pen. Because that's why I'm saying start practicing with a pen now. Don't do blue pens, because then you get light blue pens as well. You get a black pen. You do your question paper in a black pen. Accounting is going to be scanned, so it's going to look like this. Doesn't matter what color you write in, it's going to be black. So write in a black pen. Okay, and start practicing in a black pen, that you get used to it. It's just the pencil thing you are just used to, because that's how you've done it for years and years. But the fact is still, if you do it in pencil, please don't erase and write over it, because with the copies, it will shine through, and then you have a zero, and it's actually just a 0, but you wrote a 0 and you erased it and you wrote another, then I can't see what it is. So pencil is actually very dangerous. It's better to go and draw a line through it and say 0, and when it's not a pencil, you have to draw a line through. Whereas if it's a pencil, you erase, and then it's a big mess. Okay. So let's go on. Next one. So the next one is the loan. And with the loan, again, like the director's fees, this is a high order question. There's a lot of there's a lot of things that we need to take into account here. Now, first of all, I need my interest. But guess what? They already gave me my interest expense is 162. Okay? So that's already given to you. Now, next thing, what do I know here? I want the closing balance less the short-term loan. And here's your easy mark. Your easy mark is that short-term loan is the same amount that goes there. Right? Okay. Now, let's go look. What do they tell me? They tell me, here's a balance. Can you see they give me a balance? Now, usually that is the opening less the bank. Ne? But now if I read here, they say, all transactions with respect to the loan were recorded. Can you see they don't do it like they always do, where they give you an opening, a payment, an interest, and a closing. Ne? They must usually give it in that format. Now in this case they don't. They say all of this is already recorded, meaning they are giving you the closing balance, meaning the one here isn't like what we are used to, the opening less the bank. This one here is actually, in this case, the closing balance. So that 16424, now can I just say something to you? That's already a tick. If you subtracted something as the short-term loan, you will already get, if you look, let me show you on the memo. Can you see there? There's a calculation, but because you minused it, you already get a bagel. And whatever you minus there, if you put it in here as the current portion, it's another bagel. So can you see it's a minimum of 1, 2, 3 marks. This thing counts out of 6. So 3 out of 6 is easy marks. So, but now let's do the difficult marks. Let's do that calculation. So what do they tell me? I need to get the short-term loan. Now the first thing, keep in your head now, Loan is opening, closing, bank, interest, right? That is what I need in my head. They gave me the closing 1624,000. Okay. Now they tell me, they say, interest on loan is capitalized. In other words, they already gave that to me. No? Where did they give it to me? In the answer sheet. So in the answer sheet, my interest expense is 162. Now what do I know? I know that this bank here is the payment on the loan and the interest. Okay, I know that. Now the payment, I can either do it, this payment I can either say the opening less the closing, right? Or I can say the total that I paid less the interest. Okay. Now, what do they say further? They say a fixed monthly installment was paid in full. And that amounts to 402. So they tell me this is 402. But now the big keyword there is fixed. So what does it mean? It means that next year I'm also going to pay 402. Okay? But the opening balance to the closing balance, the closing is most now less than the opening. So what happens, because I pay back every month or every year, so the amount I pay interest in becomes less. So it means my interest will become less. If I pay exactly the same amount, can you see a smaller part will now go to interest and a bigger part will go to the loan. Now what do they tell me? They say the capital portion. Now when they say that, it means the part of the loan that I'm paying back, the opening and the closing balance without any interest. Okay? So the capital amount, the proportion of the repayments will decrease by 5%. It will decrease by 5%. Okay? Now, how will I know what is the capital amount? Why will it decrease?
Because the loan is reducing.
No, but the capital portion should actually increase. But okay, let's go on. So now the 402, last year the interest was 162, which means I paid back 240,000 on the loan itself. Because of that interest. If I take the interest out, this was the interest, this is the amount on the loan that I paid back. You guys understand what I'm saying? Now they tell me that is going to decrease with 5%. So if it decreases, I'm no longer going to pay 100%, I'm going to pay 95%. You see? You get it? And this is what they've done here. So 95% of that 240 is going to give me 228. I have to tell you, this doesn't make sense because usually you will pay back 5% more. Why? Because your interest became less. Unless what can make that the portion that I pay back next year is less, even though my loan is also less. What else could happen that makes my interest more? The interest rate could go up. Remember, your interest rate on your loan is market related. So let's say after COVID, did you see how the interest rates went up from 9% to, I think at this stage it's 11%. So then it could be that you pay back more interest because of the interest rate. So it's a possibility. Okay. So never just assume stuff. So now if I look here, can you see, when I look at my loan, can you see they took the 240, You now saw where I got the 240 from? Times 95%. Or you could have said, the total I repay, less the interest, less the 5%. In other words, if you say 240,000 times 5%, 240,000 times 5%, you're going to get the 12,000. That 12,000. Okay. Everybody happy? But can you see this is a higher order because it's not something you've done before. This is a totally out of the box question. But what is your first instinct then? Go to that which you know is fixed. What's fixed with loans? We take the closing less the short-term loan. What's fixed with loans is the T account. Opening, closing, bank, interest. What else is, can you see how you should start thinking? Okay. You've got lots of time to practice because we're writing the exam basically next year. Okay, now. Total dividends for the year amounts to 745. What do I know is total dividends? Can I just say the video is already 31 minutes? Must I stop it and start a new one?
The long ones are nice.
Okay, can I have a vote? Must I stop? Okay, you're the only one that says yes. Okay.